Discover a new use for those old paperback books in the creation of a 3D photo display today on the Scrapbook Showgram. Hi, I'm Sandi Genovese and welcome to the Scrapbook Showgram. You know, I'm an avid reader. I love to read, and I used to share all my paperback books with several friends, but many of them have now gone to smartphones and Kindles and iPads and electronic books, and so I've ended up needing to find a new use for those old paperback books. Look at how cool this old paperback book, I'm going to turn it so you can see from the side. This is just an old paperback book that has been, each of the pages have been folded in half to create this wonderful paper sculpture that I have turned into something that is a great way to display photos. I'm going to pull this off so you can see. This is just a kitchen tray, something that I had. I think it's actually intended for sushi, but I use it for all kinds of things. And because it's flat, it's perfect. It's the perfect place for me to be able to set this and put it out on display in my home. Now, the idea for this, let me move this out of the way so I can show you how we're going to make it, as well as my inspiration. I was reading this book by Jason Thompson because it was showing different things that you could do with those old paperback books. And he has what he calls a business card holder, which is how he uses it. But once I made one, I was so impressed with how easy it was to do that I wanted to share it with you. Here's the front and back covers of the book that I used for making my display. So to begin with, you're going to start with the book. And, you know, this is a book that I've already read. You don't even need any special tools. I'm able to just take this and peel off the front cover. And I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing. I'm going to give it a nice fold both ways. And I'm going to remove the back cover. I need to do this so it's facing me. Hopefully it's still going to make sense to you. Pull this off. And you'll know, I think I'm actually pulling off one page as I'm going. It really isn't going to matter. So you end up with an edge and a loose page that bye-bye. It's not going to matter. You do need to have a book that has a number of pages. I found, I've played with this a bunch, and like 150 to 200 pages starts to work great. This one is actually 352 pages to be exact. Was 354 before I had to lose one page. But you need a hefty size. The covers, put them in the recycle trash. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to start folding. You're going to fold so that each page folds into the middle. What I did when I did the very first one, I folded in toward the gutter, and then once I had a fold mark, I backed it up so that all of the folds are going to go into the center. So I'm going to move this out of the way now, and I'm going to fold each one of these into the gutter. I backed this first one so that I don't have a loose page kind of hanging loose here. Now I'm going to just fold them in half, and I tell you, it doesn't have to be precise because the different pages end up being so tightly packed together that if you have an imperfect fold here and there, it really doesn't matter. It still is just this beautiful sculpture. Now, obviously, I'm not going to spend the time to fold the whole thing. This is a great project to do with your kids, providing they understand that you need to be sure and read the book first. But once you continue through and you have all those pages folded, that's when you get this. I'll bring this back so you can see how all these tightly packed folds, that's how you get that. It is incredibly easy, and it takes like 15-20 minutes to do a project where the book is about this size. Now, I'll bring this back and show. You can notice that as well as I have photos in here, and I also have embellishments. When you look at the photos, the first thing to notice is I have some where the kids are larger, and they're going to be the photos that go like in the back. And then I have some, I'll set this over, where the kids are smaller. And then I needed some smaller still, so I took some photos that were fairly large, and this one of Reese, I made it a 4-up photo on my printer so that I could end up with a smaller photo for the ones in front. Then you simply cut around, I'll bring one up, you just cut around the subject in the photo. Let's see where the photo was. And that's it. You're going to slide it, and the folds are going to hold it together. Now, if you're going to put this on display where you want the front and the back to both look good, you have a couple of options. You can either just put colored paper, glue it to the back, and trim back around it, or if you happen to have the mirror image function on your printer, or if you go to a copy center where they have a printer, if you have that mirror image function, you can get the mirror image, which means you can just stick the same photo front to back, and then it's going to get placed right inside the folds of your display. The folds are going to hold it up, and once again, if I turn this, you know, you can maneuver these however you want. Sometimes I have them tightly packed depending on how many photos I want to display, and sometimes there's a lot of space in between where I place all the people in the photo. Now for the embellishments, it's kind of fun to take a shape. In this case, you can use a die cut, you can something like a wave you could also draw. My book pages were 8 inches from end to end, so I started with a piece of paper that was 8 inches. And then I drew with a pencil, I drew the shape on there. And then once I drew, or if you have a die cut, if you're lucky enough to have the die cut shape, that's even great. I think I started with the die cut shape with this. Then I went ahead and cut it out. Now, if you don't want to have to go back and erase pencil lines, these are all, ultimately this lighter colored wave I'm going to use flipped so that you're looking at it this way. And that's why I'm using it from this side, from the back side, so that I don't have to go back and erase pencil marks. Now to get the white caps on there, what you want to do is you just take the shape and set it onto, in this case, the white paper, and I'm going to take my pencil and I only need to trace the portion where, and I'll do this one over here as well, where the white cap is going to go. So I don't need to bother to trace the whole thing. When I pick it up, you can see that I have a place I could then go ahead and put this white cap could go down here so that you get really good use out of your paper. And now it's time, and in order to draw a white cap on there, I'm going to have to turn it and just draw what would look like some fun shapes. I did the same thing. I wanted this one to curl around and then go back. So when you do this, you end up with, and it's not rocket science, any kind of shape. I mean, a white cap is just froth, so it could be any shape you want. But once you've gone back and you've cut those out, I have a few that I've already cut just because it's a little faster. Here are some white caps that I've already cut out, and I'm going to place, because they're little, I'm going to take this Post-it note and I'm going to take my white cap. I think I'll do a couple here. And I place it so that it's on the sticky side. I think maybe I'll just do one so I can put it all on the sticky. This is the sticky part. If I pull it up, you can see that's going to hold it in place, which makes it really nice and sturdy for me to go ahead and put my adhesive onto that shape. And now I'm going to take, if I use tweezers, it's maybe a little easier for you to see. And I'm going to position this. Remember, this was the pencil. I can see my pencil mark, so I know I need to flip this over. Now, I can't remember, in all honesty, which of this went to which one, but it probably doesn't matter. There's probably not that much difference. So I'm going to go ahead and place it down. When you do the same thing with the other shapes, you can see once I put glue on the back, I'm going to be able to create the other elements. It's just that easy to add the little details that really make this project punch. I did the same kind of thing. I'll bring this back so you can see the finished one. You can see how when it's all together, you've got all the details on the waves. And I did the same kind of thing here on the palm tree. The one thing that's a little bit different, notice that I have the kite, and I don't know, I put a fan on so that it would slightly blow in the breeze, which is really fun because it makes it look even more like a kite. If you pull it out, you can see that this is just some colored wire, and it's got mirror image stickers stuck so that the wire is trapped in the middle. What I'm going to do is show you how I created that part as well. So here are my mirror image stickers. You can get wire in lots of colors. This one is really thin gauge, which is why it really moves in the breeze so beautifully. I'm going to pull out, I usually pull out more than I need, and you can use wire snips. The gauge of this wire is so thin that I can even just use my little scissors. Now it's a little easier to work with. If I bend it, you can take any edge. I'll use the side of the table here to get it so that I get some of that curl out of there. And then I'm going to take my tweezers, and you can use any of the kites that you want. The one that I used is the long skinny one, maybe just for variety. I'm going to show you a different one just so we can put a second kite in there. I'm going to take the first one, and I'm going to position it so that the sticky side is facing up, and I'm going to place the wire right onto that sticky edge, and then I'll use my tweezers to get my hands out of there. Now I want to take the mirror image sticker. I love one of the few companies that makes stickers that are mirror image is Mrs. Grossman, so I use them a lot. And I'm going to just line this up so that I'm sticking the two sticky sides together, and I'm just trapping the wire in the middle, and you end up with this fun embellishment that is just ready. I'll bring this back so you can see, and it doesn't need really to be nearly this long. I'm going to trim off some of this wire so it's not so tall, because we can have more than one person can be flying a kite at the beach today. And you can see just how fun it is to do that. You know, with smartphones, iPads, Kindles, you know, it's becoming more and more difficult to share used paperback books. No problem. 15 to 20 minutes of folding, and you could turn that old paperback into a brand new photo display. I love, love, love to hear your comments, and be sure to share us with your scrapbooking friends. Bye for now.